Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara and today I am going to be doing my first reaction video. I'm going to be reacting to 1-star Three Musketeer reviews, which if you've been watching my channel for even a while now, you'll know that's one of my favourite books of all time, if not my favourite book of all time. I asked one of my friends to basically source some 1-star reviews on Goodreads and put them into this document, so I haven't read them yet and I'm just going to react to them as we go through them. So let's get started. So the first review was, these are all 1 stars obviously, did not finish, hated all the stupid duels. I mean, they're musketeers. What did you expect? I don't understand, but okay. Alright, next one. Meh. Yeah, I'm the queen of the mess. I just didn't caught the thing, you know? This end was so Disney. Like, and then happily ever after. Sorry, I didn't really care about the characters. I think it's because it's not the kind of book that I read. So yeah. P.S. It's not like I have to love this book just because it's a classic. Okay? Such a sassy comment. I kind of love it actually. I personally think this review is meh. So there we have it. Next one. I should add in a disclaimer because there's going to be a troll somewhere being like, oh my god, why are you hating on people? I'm not hating on anybody. This is all in jest. People are entitled to their opinion. I respect people's opinion. It's fine. This is just a bit of fun, okay? So please, let's not overthink it. Alright, third one. 4 whiny jerks offend each other, decide to team up, and spend what feels like 1 trillion pages womanizing, starting fights, killing people who barely, if even, deserve it, and getting drunk. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point. I don't want to be that person who's like, you didn't get the book. But, I mean, they're musketeers and they were known for behaving in that way. You have to remember the musketeers were based on a very similar, like, mercenary group in France at the time that Dumas was writing. So a lot of his experience would have been similar to what he actually wrote in the book because he himself was a soldier. And to me, that's kind of the point. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to be that person even though I just went there. All right, next. If you're expecting to find something like any of the various movie adaptations, you're going to be disappointed. The whole time I was reading this book, I kept asking why I'm supposed to like the heroes. I haven't encountered a worse example of designated heroes and villains since Aragon, and at least then that had the decency to keep the plot moving. So firstly, I've hated all the movie adaptations of this book. None of them have done them justice. The only adaptation that I really like of the Three Musketeers is the BBC production. There was recently a French adaptation, which I haven't watched yet. I will hopefully be able to get it soon. It's just really hard to get because it was made by a very small, like, French production company. And I feel like they have done it justice because it's also in French. I think when you do an adaptation of a French book, it should be in the language that the book was written in my opinion, just to make it feel authentic. BBC one I vouch for. It's so good. I've watched it like 3-4 times now. Like, I love it. They did take some liberties, obviously, with the text, but I'm okay with that, and I think it suited the story. But the movies, the old one with, I can't remember who, was it Kiefer Sutherland, I think, is terrible. The most recent ones with Orlando Bloom were just awful. Awful, awful, awful. Hated them. So we will have to disagree there. And then on terms of liking the heroes, I mean, they're meant to be morally grey, right? So you'll like parts of them and you'll hate other parts, in my opinion. Next, it might be a classic work in literature, but nope, I simply did not like what I was reading. I wanted to smack D'Artagnan, the arrogant Gascon, every 2 pages in the first half of the book. And then in the second half, it's the character of Milady getting on my nerves. By the gods, that she-devil was too much. My eyes rolled off at every turn of the page. I'll take the Man in the Iron Mask over this romance any day of the week. Any Hollywood rendition of the Three Musketeers, in fact. Well, we can at least agree on that. It is definitely cheesy in parts, and to me, that's part of the charm. Like, I think the cheesiness kind of, you know, there are these like aha moments where it's like, haha, I did this, and it's like, yeah, that's cringe, but it's also like really funny and fitting with the tone of the book. So I think it just depends, obviously, on what you like. I think it's naturally very subjective. All right, next. DNF, such terrible characters, such misogyny, and nothing interesting was happening except a possible political plot that served as a framing for a lot of non-interesting men picking stupid fights with each other and seductress women. Gag. Whew. Not one single full stop, which is why I read it all in one go. Yeah, I mean, the political plot I thought was really interesting. I really like the intrigue in the book. It's very kind of keeps you on your toes. There's quite a lot of tension. It's quite atmospheric in places. The men picking stupid fights, I mean, again, I think that's the point. But either you will enjoy reading that or you won't. And that's okay. It's okay. All right, I think we've got 3 left. All right. So here's the next one. Ugh, the classism is just nauseating. Oh, poor us. We are so poor with only 1 servant apiece and we never pay our rent, but so poor. And they get into arguments based on how insulted they are and kill each other. What a waste, and what a waste of my time. I got about halfway through and I'm done with this. I mean, again, you have to remember the time that it was written to these guys. I mean, Athos, as an example, is nobility and he comes from a lot of wealth. So to him to have 1 servant will feel like he's at a disadvantage naturally. There is classism, but I think that's one of the biggest themes of the book. And again, I think that's the point. Dumas himself came from a very poor family, so I think he's trying to make a point here. Like, I think that's literally the point that he's trying to make. So yeah. Next we have did not like, doesn't even come close to how I feel about this book. I hated it. These guys are not chivalrous and they are simply out to kill one lady. Ugh. This is the book among all books that will prove that classics are chosen by white Anglo-Saxon men. Misogynistic and horrible. I only managed to finish it because 1, I listened to it at 2x speed while at the gym, and 2, I felt like I had to. I don't recommend this book to anyone. I mean, Dumas was half black, so yeah. That's just one thing that I'll say. And then I think the second thing is that there are definitely misogyny in the book. I mentioned that in my review. And again, I think that's just a symptom of the time that it was written in, and we have to be not necessarily forgiving of it, but I think we should at least be aware of that. It's like, you know, you read a Jane Austen book where she talks about women's struggle. You're not just going to discount that because, oh, here's another book about women's struggles. Like, no, it's representative of what her and her family went through at the time, her sisters went through at the time. So, I mean, again, you like what you like, you dislike what you dislike. It is what it is, but yeah. Okay, last one. This is a bit of a long one, so I'm curious to see what they're saying. 1.5 out of 5. This was a very, very bad, no good book. The dialogue is terrible, the story itself is boring for the vast majority of the novel. The writing itself is lazy. The one note from Cardinal Richelieu that gets printed 3 times has 3 different dates listed at the bottom. And the main characters are unrealistic, boring, reprehensible, and one-dimensional. The Musketeers and D'Artagnan are lazy, lie, cheat, steal, commit adultery, are mindlessly obedient to terrible rulers and women, waste money, and beat their servants and those in situations of dependence. This is the conduct of a gentleman that Dumas glorifies. It would be like a book today celebrating the worst of bro culture, whilst also giving the bros swords that they used to indiscriminately stab people. It's obvious why the best portion of the book are the 70 pages it leaves behind the Musketeers and focuses on Milady, the one redeemable character in the novel. If Victor Hugo is the filet mignon of French literature, Dumas is a hot dog at 7-Eleven. They're freezing hour after hour. Ouch! That is brutal. That is brutal. That is hilarious as well. I want to try and use that one day. If Victor Hugo is the filet mignon of French literature, Dumas is a hot dog at 7-Eleven left roasting hour after hour. That sentence is genius, and I'm totally going to steal that because that was damn good. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these people are saying the same thing. I think the way that Dumas characterized the Musketeers is very much representative of his own experience. And I don't think he was trying to position these people as the heroes. They, to me, are very classic morally great characters. There are parts of them that are redeeming, but there are other parts of them that are absolutely despicable. And I think some people will either really like that and other people will want them to be 100% pure heroes who do nothing bad. That's fine, but I just don't think that's what he was going for. And I don't think that that's what this book is trying to show. So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with this person. I just don't think that's what he was going for in the first place. So yeah, this was fun. This was actually hilarious. Again, if Victor Hugo's The Filet Mignon are French literature, Dumas is a hot dog at 7-Eleven at first thing after hour after hour. That sentence is genius, and I am going to use that in one of my meetings today because I love it. But yeah, this was actually really funny. Again, I really hate like being that person who's like, well, I don't think you got it. I'm not trying to say that. I think it's important to remember the motivation behind what the author was writing, especially if you disagree with it. Like, try and learn why the author wrote it in that way. Important to remember he was also in the army himself, so I think a lot of his experiences are reflected in the book, and the misogyny which comes up a lot is very much a symptom of the time. I've seen misogyny in a lot of similar books written at the same time. So yeah, I think just making such a big focus out of it, it's important to recognize it, but I don't think we need to, you know, harp on about it, because like I said, it's a reflection. If a book like that was written today, where there is much more focus on equality, then I think it would be a different conversation. But like I said, we need to be mindful of the time the books were written in, because they're interesting pieces of history in themselves, right? They show how society has progressed in some ways and regressed in others. So yeah, that was funny. I'm going to do this for more books, and I actually really enjoyed that. So if you like this video and there's a book that you want me to specifically focus on, let me know. But I think I'm going to do this for Before They Are Hanged as well, because as we all know, that's my favourite Abercrombie book, and I think there'll be some really funny things. So yeah, if you like this, comment down below, like the video please, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, stay safe, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.